One Friday Fights 83 is back this Friday at 18th of October at 2:30 South African time. Watch myself and my man Babu break this fantastic fight card down in this week's Fighting with Friends. Yo, welcome back to the CPS Reports, everybody. It's your boy, brother Gaia, coming at you with another prediction and breakdown of One Friday Fights 83. I won't be doing it alone this time. I do have someone with me in the corner, like I mentioned. My guy, Babu, is here. Let me bring him up on screen. How's it going, my bro?
Liquor, man,
You're good?
liquor. Excited,
Unfortunately,
excited for another wine card.
I don't have any. Yes, bro. Yes. I don't have the title card to be in like AD does with the music track this time, unfortunately. But we are here. We are going to be talking about some amazing fights. So let's do it. Let's ride that excitement, like you say, and go straight into the fight card. I'm going to start with the main event. We see Panrit taking on Superball in this week's main event at Friday Fights. And this is just an exciting fight for me, Babu, because Super Bowl is a former champion, not in the one championship, but a former Muay Thai champion. He's taking on Panrit, who is just an absolute tank in the Muay Thai so far. They're fighting catchweight at 139 pounds, which is 63 kilograms for more us South Africans to understand. But let me give you some insight on Panrit. His record in one championship currently stands at 4 wins, 3 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 1 win by TKO. He's currently on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Warapun by unanimous decision, who is also fighting on this card a bit later, but earlier in the card. He also noticeably beat Alexei Balikau, who fought against John Lineker last fight out. That was unanimous decision, as well as Kong Tai by TKO. The fight style of Panrit is usually, power puncher, very, very strong in the clinch, good elbows in the clinch, forward pressure. And that's usually how he gets opponents down, where he kind of gets them backed up into against the ropes and just lets his hands go. And like I said, when you see him in the clinch and he throws some heavy elbows, that's usually where he does his best work. But he's taking on, like I said, the former champion in Super Bowl. His record in the one championship is currently 3 wins, 1 loss, and 0 no contests. He won 3 of his last 4 fights, beating Julio Lobo by unanimous decision and Kong Klai as well, twice, by the way, by unanimous decision. Also a phenomenal boxer, good ability to use his length. I think he's slightly taller than Panrit, as well as he fights from both stances. I think that's a very deadly combination to have. So on that note, Babu, another thing, they also share the same opponents like in Conklai, like I said. How do you see this fight playing out?
Sheesh. So, like, this is my first look at it, and from what I'm seeing here, I think like Super Bowl looks like the more experienced fella, especially
Yeah.
going like 2 fights against Kong Klai, who has been in one championship, and I think I've seen him against Denise last time out. We took the victory, and he looked good, and he looked like a solid fighter. And for somebody to go, I guess, like 6 minutes with him, you have to think like, yo, that's a different kind of animal. So, ish, that, it's a stacked main event here, and it got me looking like, yeah, might be something to definitely look at, because, like you mentioned, one's a power puncher, one's a good boxer, so we could see some good techniques here, and one Super Bowl fighting out of both stances can give the opponent like a different look, and you might look to lead with the elbow, and like this one's in a orthodox stance, and you're like, oh, I don't know, you might leave yourself open there, and like we've seen plenty of times in one, like fighters do enjoy the kicking stances, and if you can fight out of both stances, like sometimes you just afraid to have that shin on shin action, especially like if
Yeah.
they're trying to check kicks and that stuff. So that
Yeah.
could throw like a different spanner in the works there. But
Absolutely.
I do think Super Bowl comes out with a victory here. But I'm just basing that off like, hey, this man has gone 6 minutes with a
Shot.
champion.
Yeah. Yo, that's a really good call. I mean, look, it's very difficult to bet against someone like Super Bowl. I mean, the dude is a killer, and like I said, he only lost once in the one championship so far. And if you look at a lot of his fights, he's very technical. And like I say, the stance switching is something that's probably going to be the key to his victory. But he is going up against someone who hits harder than he does in Panrit. And it just takes one of those combinations from a left, right, or right, left. And then the next thing you know, you're going backwards and you're rocked out of your mind and you have to fight for your life again. And elbows do beat the boxing combination, especially when they get into the pocket. But Superball is the taller fighter, so he's going to have to utilize that length very smartly in this fight because if he gets caught in boxing exchanges where they're just like relentless exchanging punches all the time, I do see him having difficulty fighting against Panrit in that exchange. But I'm going to go with what you say as well. I want to give it to Superball, but it's going to be a tough challenge because Panrit is on like I said, 3 fight winning streak as it stands, so he's obviously got the momentum on his side. But this is a good test for someone like Pandit because Super Bowl is the former champ. So it would be a massive cap in his feather if he does get this win. As for Super Bowl, if he gets the win, well, I mean, it speaks for itself. He's got such a big profile already. So if he wins here, he can pretty much call out whoever he wants to call out. As long as it's not in catch weight, it has to be obviously in a specific particular weight. Hopefully, he does it in bantamweight or featherweight. But let's see how it goes. Also, let us know in the comments what you think about this main event because myself and Babu just cannot wait for it to take place. And that will be again, like I say, this Friday, 18th of October at 2:30. I think the main event will most likely start at about 6 p.m. Babu, somewhere around there,
Yeah.
5:30, 6 p.m. South African time. Yeah, more or less. But okay, we will keep it moving swiftly to the co-main event, and we see. I keep butchering this name. I'm gonna try here. Just bear with me here. It's Puyak Puyakiao. Puyakiao, right? That's the headline. A co-main event. Puyakiao versus Pit Vic Pit Vicit. They also fight in catchweight at 138 pounds. I think that's 62 kilograms, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just put that up on the screen there for you guys. 62.6
62.6.
kilograms. There we go. And I think this is also going to be quite an exciting co-main event, Babu, because both these guys are entertaining to watch. Puyak Pacquiao, his record in the one championship currently stands at 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He's on a 2 fight winning streak, only losing to Denis Demikapu, who you just mentioned in the fight before this. And Denis is obviously a household name in the one championship. He won that fight by KO. He's a pretty much a flashy fighter, very strong, very creative in the clinch. Only 22 years old, but he looks very, very durable. One of those like really what's the word? Extremely conditioned. He can take shots. He's going up against Pet Vicit, who is also a very fantastic kickboxer, Muay Thai practitioner. Excuse me. His record in one championship currently sits at 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. So they pretty much got the same amount, almost same amount of fights in the one championship. He's got 1 win by KO, and he beat Pet Sirichai by split decision, and more noticeably beating Dan Payak by unanimous decision. Also very young, 23 years old. So both these guys are very youthful. They're looking to obviously make themselves become a staple name in the one championship. I think it's very exciting to see this, especially these young cats go at each other. So give me your thoughts, Babu, on this one. I mean, they're both fairly new. You think about it, they haven't really been that long in the one championship. I think it's only a year for both of them, but taking up so many fights so far as they're gaining experience as they go. How do you think this fight plays out?
I mean, from looking at both fighters, I see both fighters are durable fighters, like you mentioned. I see
Mm.
uh, Buyakao. He's
Yes.
he's all three his wins come by unanimous decision, and
Mm.
the the thing about one championship that stands out above like other organizations is when you see a unanimous decision or you see decisions, you
Mm.
like if I see it in another organization, I think, oh, okay, you might have had this, like you might have just banked in rounds, but
Yeah.
here in the
Yeah.
championship, I know that every fighter is going for the kill, every fighter is going for the knockout or
Yeah.
going for the finish. So even when I look at a fighter like this who has 3 wins by unanimous decision, I have to
Yeah.
think like, oh, you're like maybe you because you are young, maybe you just don't have that finishing combination, but you definitely know how to dominate the fight. And
Mm.
especially
Mm.
like all 3 fights, unanimous decision, it's not even split. Like I don't have to think about it. Um
Yeah.
on the other
Yeah.
side of the coin, I'm looking at Pit
Yeah.
Witch
Yeah.
and he looks like the one that has a bit more fights in the one championship, not too much,
Mm, mm,
and he does look like the fighter that's coming off a loss. So his confidence might be a little down, but you definitely know that this fight is going to be
mm,
evenly matched because
mm,
both fighters are young. Both fighters do look like they trying to establish their name, and
mm.
they trying to get that finish. And
Yeah.
I think like both fighters seem durable, so you definitely signed up for a fight that won't finish in the first round, but you'll
Yeah.
definitely see like full martial arts on display, full Muay
Yeah.
Thai like skill sets being matched up against each other.
Yeah. Definitely, because they're both very creative in that regard. How do you think? Who do you think gets the dub here? It's very hard for me to pick. I'm leaning towards Buyakao, to be quite honest, because I do think he can navigate the rounds a bit better. But the thing about Petrucci is that he's a killer, man. Like when he pushes forward, and I think he might have the reach advantage in this one as well. So, who do you think actually gets the dub here?
Um, I want to go with Buyakao as well, and
Mm, mm,
I'm just basing it on like his fights and how
yes.
frequent it has been. He's fought
Yeah.
like in July and then he's fought in August and now he's fighting again. Whereas on the other side of the coin, Petrucci, he took a loss in March and
Yeah.
he hasn't been like really back in there. So I feel like like once you have that momentum on you, like
Mm,
you just keep going, you just keep motoring forward. And
true.
I think that builds that invincibility like
Mm, mm,
mindset almost to you where you feel like, oh, this person's not gonna put me out. So you just keep pressing
yeah.
forward and it does. Momentum in fighting is one hell of a thing because once you have the
Yeah.
momentum on
It's
your side,
important.
like your opponent just crumbles basically. Like he
Yeah.
just doesn't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Can't get out of it. Yeah. It's so true. It's like a perfect power up to have in the game of combat sports is that momentum, because then it's like you just feel like you're unstoppable until you do get stopped.
Mm,
Touch wood. Hopefully, Buakaw doesn't get stopped in this one, but it does make for an exciting co-main event for the fight card for sure. So I cannot wait to look at that fight. And also, just last thing I'll touch on is that Buakaw does have sort of higher caliber opponents that he fought against. Like Demi Kapoor is very high caliber to fight against, and if you've gone into a fight, granted, okay, he lost by knockout, but to have the experience against someone like that it does give you lessons. You know, you go back and go, like, okay, now I know where I have to sort of reach to, because obviously you're taking a loss against someone who's pretty much of like a household staple in the one championship. But okay, I'm looks like we're in agreement there. Looks like we're in agreement for that co-main event. So let's keep it
mm.
moving. I'm sure we'll get in the comments what our viewers think about who would get that victory. Please let us know. Of course, we'll have to hear your thoughts. Babu, we keep it moving here at the CPS reports to a fight, which is the featured bout or the bout before the co-main event. We have Song Fang Kong taking on Petsinin. And Petsinin, this is his one championship debut. So there wasn't much recorded data on the young fighter. But he is going up against a fantastic lion. His record in the one championship currently stands at 2 wins, 3 losses, and 0 no contests. He's 1 win by TKO, beating Den Payak. Everyone's beating Den Payak by unanimous decision. He beat Kung Ponoi by TKO in his last fight and also lost to Pet Chai by split decision, as well as Suryan Lek by KO. I just want to highlight that those names are really, really good names in the one championship. So like losing to them is also one thing I like to add is that Song Fang Kong is only 21 years old. So at that age, going up against already established names like Suryan Lek and Den Payak is really speaks volumes to what the one championship thinks about this young lad. But like I said, he's going up against someone who is debuting, so there isn't much to go on it. But I just want to get your quick thoughts on that, Bobby. You don't have to go fully in depth about it, but just your quick thoughts about this matchup.
I think like as a debutant and from what
Mm,
like from the little information that is provided on him, I see like the team that he's fighting out of. There's a bunch of experienced fighters that come out of there,
mm,
and as a 21-year-old, you are very
mm.
impressionable. So
Yeah,
you put that grit and determination into somebody, and especially on debut, in like what I mean, would we not say the Lupini Stadium is like basically one of that
Mm.
wonders of the world for a combat sports athlete. You want to fight in there, and you're getting your
Yeah.
opportunity. You're gonna want to put out your best resume, and then on the other
True.
side, you see Fong Kong, um, Fong Yang Kong, who's,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say a veteran, but he's had some fights there in one championship. A couple of losses on his name, so I'm sure
Mm.
he's coming off a victory. So I'm sure he wants to just keep the train rolling,
Yeah.
because you don't want to go loss win the whole time. You want to build a bit of momentum, make a
Mm.
young runner run
Yeah.
to the title. And
Yeah.
both fighters are fairly young, 21 years
They're
old,
very young.
coming into coming into quite a quite a big organization. You want to
Yes.
put your name forward. There's a lot of
Yeah.
fighters here that that are household names,
Yeah.
and you have to think like, okay, I would say, when looking at both fighters, um I'd probably say it's a pick 'em fight, because
Mm. Mm.
Fang Kong, Song Fang Kong, he hasn't
Mhm.
really established anything. He has an up and down record, and
Yeah. Yeah.
on the other side, we don't know much about the debutant. So
Mm.
hopefully the debutant can put on a show, and we'll remember that name.
Let's see, bro. Let's see if we will remember the name in Pet Saint Nin. But anyway, we'll keep it moving on here, Babu. So we're actually going to move it on to the headliner of the undercard, the fight that most fans are actually excited about. And we see the return of Pen Payak taking on Silvio Vitez in a flyweight Muay Thai. And as you can see, when I say flyweight, when you see that on screen and we don't see catchweight, you know it's a serious fight, because these guys can be ranked in their division. It's basically what it means is the winner of this fight can definitely call out a more recognizable name in the flyweight division. Also, this is my guy Takero's division, although it's not Muay Thai and kickboxing. This is Muay Thai. They may not actually meet each other unless Pen Payak decides to come and fight in kickboxing. But anyway, I digress. Coming back to this fight, Babu. Like I said, we see the return of Pen Payak. He's been out for 2 years, which is a bit unfortunate due to some kind of injury. Not too entirely sure. But his record in the one championship currently stands at 4 wins, 2 losses, and zero no contests. One win by KO. Like I said, he had a 2 year layoff. He fought Superleg, who is the king of one championship twice. By the way, if you fight in Super League twice, that means you're gaining so much experience. You beat fighters like Savas, Michael by KO, and I think that was his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. Daniel Puates by unanimous decision, and Rui Batolo, who's also now on back-to-back wins by unanimous decision. Silvio, on the other hand, fighting in the blue gloves, his record in the one championship is currently 1 win, 4 losses, and zero no contests. But don't let that fool you. Fool you. He lost to Kimura Ayumu by unanimous decision. He also lost to Kong Klai by KO. He beat Reva Daz by unanimous decision, and also lost to fighters like Seksan and Yod Lek Pet, recognizable figures over there, by TKO. So he's very tough. Unfortunately, those losses in the one championship that you see, those 4 losses, has come in the hands of very, very tough opponents, guys who are on like upward trajectories right now. So what that tells me is that Silvio has gained enough experience by fighting against high level caliber opponents. And I like his style. He's very forward pressure kind of fighter, very high pace, loves to box, really loves to box. Throws very much of those low calf kicks. Not in the same way Takeda throws him, but loves to throw those calf kicks. And again, likes to be the one on the front foot most of the time, which is why you kind of see him getting put away against fighters like Seksan and Yodlek Pet in them, because he's always just forward pressuring kind of fighters. He's taking on Pen Payak, who is a master of the push kick and the team kicks. If you look at the name on the screen there, Jit Muyangnong, that is obviously the same name that we see on Rodtang. I'm not entirely sure if that is the surname or if that is the name of their gym. Let us know in the comments. Love to hear their thoughts. Pen Payak is a killer, man. Elbows, uppercuts, boxing combinations, switch stances, the body kicks, low kicks. He has it all, and he's just a straight up, like I say, killer. How do you think this fight plays out, Babu?
Um, One thing about like fighters that's in like Asia, like,
Hmm.
I do think you do need a break every now and then, just like after injury, just because like when you watch
Yeah.
one championship and you watch Muay Thai fighting, like, bro, it's they're like walking through elbows and walking through certain kicks that these people put themselves through is
Yeah.
insanity, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I urge anybody, like, if you think after like two leg kicks you are walking normal, that is insanity. So I do think the layoff, it can play a part. I do know ring rust is a thing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm sure he comes out of a. I think the surname or the
Mm.
second name is the
Mm.
gym,
Okay.
and there is killers out of the gym. So you can't tell me
Mm.
sparring is not like in your favor. And then having somebody like Rotang in your gym where you can
Mm.
spar and have like a just hard rounds.
Yeah.
It shouldn't really be too much of a ring rush for him. And then
Mhm.
on the other side, we see the Hitman. He, Vitis,
Mhm.
he's like us when you look at his record, like the people that he has lost again is killers, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, I know Conkla, watching him fight, like he's just like you hit him with like your best elbow, you hit him with your best kick, and he just keeps walking forward.
Yeah.
So that's nothing to ever like hang your hat on if you say like,
Mm.
oh, I have a loss against him, because
Mhm.
he's just built of a different metal.
Yeah.
And I think this fight, it does, just looking at both fighters, does bring a lovely, um
Attention.
almost like, yeah, because you're
Yeah.
seeing a fighter that is putting on
Uh,
entertaining fights in Yetviz, and you're seeing like a
yeah.
fighter that you know is a good caliber, but does
Mhm.
come off a bit of a layoff in Pakya.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to see like, oh, how does this match up?
Yeah.
Does the fighter that we know in Pakyak, does that quality still show against
Mm.
a new young up and comer who's
Yeah.
on? I mean, if he pulls a victory, it definitely puts his name into contention of like,
Mm.
let me see how I can build momentum here, because I'm sure for him, he's looking at his record and he's like, that's not a true reflection of who I am as a
Mm.
fighter.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
this is an interesting fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a winner in this one.
Ooh. Well, I'm sure the comments will let us know. Our viewers will obviously give us their point of view on it, because I want to go with Panpayak, but you know that the 2 years off, I think that
Can
may
play a
have an
part.
effect. Yeah, you see, it may have an effect on this fight. That's the thing, and the style that Silvio does bring is the kind of thing that, if you don't put this man, if you don't drop or put Silvio down, you know that he's going to stay on you the whole time until he drops you, because that's the kind of fight he is. Hence why you see him losing to some of the hard punches of the division. Um, so it's a good stylistic matchup. Obviously, I'm going to go with Panpayak, because I do think he's the more versatile, the more how do I say, polished fighter. Like he's got a wider range of weapons that he can use than Silvio. However, cardio, conditioning, and relentless pressure can beat anybody, and that's exactly what Silvio brings. So it's a very intriguing matchup to watch. So I would say well done to the one championship for putting that fight together. I cannot wait. Again, you will see that 18th of October at 2:30 South African time this Friday, ladies and gentlemen. But myself and Babu will keep it moving to our last fight of this preview, which is again another fight that I cannot wait to watch. We see Warapun taking on Anta Kasim. Is also catchweight Muay Thai. If I'm not mistaken, this is what, 64. There we go, 64
Yep.
kilograms. And this is an exciting fight. Warapun, his record in the one championship currently stands at 2 wins, 2 losses, and 0 no contests. 1 win by KO. He lost to Panrit in his last fight by unanimous decision. Panrit is the fighter that's hosting. That's on the main event of this fight card. He beat Hiroki Kasahara by unanimous decision, and Slatan by KO. Beautiful switch left kick to the head. It was a massive knockout for Wadapun. And then also Slatan's a very, very powerful fighter, so that's a good win on his cap over there. Anta Kasim, his record in the one championship currently stands at 2 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest. He has 1 win by KO. He lost to Avatar by KO and Ferrari by unanimous decision in his last 2 fights. He lost His last win came. He beat Raif Bouchik by unanimous decision, and Yod Pupa, who is also a very much of a powerful puncher in the one championship, and they fought twice, by the way. And his second fight, he obviously lost the first one. His second fight, he won by KO in that one, so he got that win back. What I like about these two fighters is that Wadapun is the kind of fighter that doesn't really want to fight on the back foot. He loves to go forward. He loves to hold the center of the octagon and from there almost go into his opponent's half and stay there. You know what I mean? And sort of stay camping in his half. So he keeps his opponents on the back foot with his relentless pressure. And like I said, he loves to use that left high kick. Whereas Anta Kasim, he's relatively tall for this division. He's taller than most of the fighters in this division. So he usually uses his boxing combination, his length. He loves to throw hooks to the body. It's like one of his go-to things. You very rarely see him use switch kicks, body kicks, or he just uses the tip. And once he's in, he looks to throw extensive and very powerful hooks, getting his opponents out there nice and early. So it's a good stylistic matchup here. You got the kicks versus the punches. How do you think this fight plays out, Babu?
I think like from looking at both fighters here and the the records as you stated, I know both fighters seem to be coming off a loss here, and I'm sure they're
Mm,
desperate for a win. You want that taste of victory in your mouth, and like you said, if Kasim has a good game plan, I would say
mm,
like just try and like counter because you
mm,
have the length on your side, you have the reach advantage, and especially with a fighter like Warapun who's constantly putting that forward pressure. If you can
yeah,
just throw off the rhythm, every time he
mm,
comes forward, you just poke him or
yeah,
try to get something out there just to disrupt his rhythm so that he doesn't get into like a
mm,
settling mindset. And especially like if a fighter wants to take the middle of the ring, you
yeah,
you can have it. I don't mind fighting from the outside. Let me just keep touching you until you get frustrated to make
yeah,
a mistake. So that and you have the length to capitalize on that. And as soon as a fighter can either overextends himself or anything, you
mm,
can just get something in there to show them like, hey, maybe you need to take a step back. And if
mm.
if they ever do take a step back, you can just always put the forward pressure on.
Yes,
So I'm interested to see like how both fighters come and respond off a loss.
yeah,
From looking at it, I do like Kasim's look, but
yeah,
I, I don't. There's just something about Warapun that looks like you know what, I'm ready, and I
yeah,
don't care if you're the taller fighter. I don't care if the physical attributes lay in your favor. Like
yeah,
maybe you're not sure of like how I can get into the inside, because if Warapun can get into the inside and can put that forward pressure on him, uh,
mm,
you have to think like uh,
mm,
Kasim has suffered a couple of knockout losses.
yeah,
So,
yes, yeah.
you know, once your ball gets rang, it's a different
It's
thing,
hard to,
huh?
yeah. Then you become a little gun shy. You become a bit gun shy. You don't really want to stay in the pocket for too long because you could get dropped. And I think that's one of the downfalls to Kasim's game is that he has fallen victim to that. You know, where he gets caught in the pocket and he just exchanges, and next thing you know, gets put down. I I am in agreement with you here. I wanted to give it to Kasim first because I thought he just got that power advantage. He's a bit frightening and his size is big for the division, especially the way he walks forward. But I do think that Wadapun's probably going to take his legs away from him. You know, probably just low kick him, body kick him. You know, just slow him down, slow him down, not giving him a chance to kind of step forward on his front leg. Just because Kasim doesn't, like I say, doesn't really not often does he use kicks that much. So he relies on his hands quite a bit. So then what happens is he's stepping down on his front leg quite a bit. So I think if Wadapun takes that out of him, there's a good chance that he can win. But that's going to be difficult because they are fighting opposite stances. Whereas Wadapun fights southpaw and Kasim fights orthodox, which means that the front leg is actually going to be a bit difficult for him to, to chop. He's going to have to chop back leg or maybe to the body a lot. It's a very exciting fight. Very exciting fight. And I think I'm going to go with Wadapun. I won't be surprised if he gets knocked out, to be honest. But I think Wadapun is going to get the job done over the 15, over the 3 rounds, the 12 minutes. But all right, Babu, that is our time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Keep it up. Keep up the good work with getting engaged in the comments. You know we love to hear your thoughts on that. Myself and Babu and the rest of the panel will be giving our recap this Saturday after the event is finished. but we will also be watching it this Friday, so stay tuned for that, as well as the UFC that's taking place over on Sunday, and keep a lookout for our recap for that as well. On that note, myself and Babu will see you on the next one. Stay blessed and enjoy the fights. Let me just get rid of this banner here quickly. There we go. Stay blessed and enjoy the fights. Cheers.